This camera 1 is rolling.
Alright.
Oops. Wrong button. Okay, camera 2.
Alright.
Okay. Stand about here. Okay. Here we go. Greetings, diners, and welcome back to the Great Alaska Doomstead Diner Pizzeria. All right, and we are continuing with our series here of how you make a really good quality pizza at home from scratch, for the most part, as good as the pizza that you could get at the Moose's Tooth, which, as Jake informed me, is the highest grossing independent pizzeria in the fascist states of America. Okay, and that's here in Alaska. So you don't have to go to Italy or to New York City for great pizza. You can come right here to Alaska. All right, and Jake is going to be working on the dough and the disc, and he'll be spinning it for you too here presently. And I am going to work on toppings, okay? And it's going to be mostly vegan pizza, and it could be all vegan, but we're going to add some pepperoni, because what is pizza without pepperoni? All right. But it's going to have other stuff on it. It's going to have eggplant and red peppers and green peppers and onion and I don't know, other stuff, whatever we figure out. And then it's all going to go in the oven. So I'm going to get to cutting up veggies, and Jake's going to tell you what he's going to do right now.
Alright, so I took our dough from last night and I let it rise for a little bit in the fridge. And I was doing what we call cold rise, which is the cold inhibits the yeast a little bit, and it makes it rise a little bit slower, so that when you come back the next morning, it's not just one giant, huge puff ball. So I took that dough and I separated it out into 2 different containers. And I have one of our dough balls right here. This is going to make a nice size, just a little tiny pizza.
I brought the wrong cheese over.
We do have this Italian cheese 6 blend we can use.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of flour.
How big is that pizza? The 12 or 16 or what?
This will probably end up being about a 10 or a 12-inch pizza.
Yeah.
So I didn't measure the weight of this one. I'm not sure exactly what size it will do. If you want your pizzas to always turn out the same size, you generally weigh them beforehand, which is what a restaurant will always do. So we're going to take some flour, that way this dough doesn't stick to anything too bad. And we're going to flatten out our ball. And we want to keep it in as good of a circle as possible. And then after that, we're going to start to form our crust. There's a couple different ways that you can do this, but I'm just going to go with the most simple, in my opinion. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this dough, flatten it out a little bit, and take our fingers and cup them up. And then we're going to push down on the dough. And rotate it, and then we're going to push down on the dough, and rotate it, and then we're going to push down on the dough, rotate it. And this is a process that is pretty easy. And when you're done with it, you'll end up having a little piece that looks about like this. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to stretch it and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. And that's what's going to become our pizza. This little tiny
tiny disc is going to become a nice big pizza. So is it going to be window thin, or what's going to happen?
Depends on how thin I stretch it out. If we want to, and we can do a thin crust, and we can do it window thin, and it'll be nice and crispy.
I like thin crust crispy.
Okay.
It's my favorite type pizza.
We're going
But,
to
you know, I mean, you know, if you like it thicker, that's okay too.
Alright. So what I just did there was I took that little tiny ball and I stretched it. And this is the on the ground portion of the stretching. If you take your little tiny compact dough ball and try and throw it in the air, you go to catch it and it's just like a little tiny rock that hits your hands. So you want to get it a little tiny bit stretched out first. So you take your hands and place them down on it, and you keep your left hand pretty much still. And then you take your right hand and you pull it away from you. And you just kind of go as much as the dough feels like it wants to go. Just until a little bit before it starts to tear. And then after that, you take the dough and pick it up. And when you pick up the dough, you want to be very gentle with it. And you want to have your hands like this. So you don't want your fingers to poke through it. And you almost want to be holding it with like your wrist right here. We're holding the pizza. And then in order to toss it, you take this hand and you spin it around, and then I normally take this hand right here and I push
Gotta
upwards.
see this. Okay. Oh, go, go, go!
So this one, I have a slight little tiny issue where one side is more heavy, so it's not being a perfect circle.
Yeah, you got a little tear in there
A
too.
little tiny tear. And that's what makes making good pizza difficult. Is making sure there's no tears and that it's really a nice even circle.
Is there any way to repair that tear?
Yes, it is very, very easy to repair the tears. Since the dough is still pretty moist, it will still go back together with itself pretty easily.
Uh-huh.
So you can take it and gently lift it up right where this hole is. And then we're going to perform surgery on it. We're going to grab this little flap right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to pull it over. And then we're going to press down a little bit on it. And we're going to look at the other side of it. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Almost folding the outside layer of the dough over this middle section. Kind of like a comb over haircut.
Right. Well, that's what I need. That's why I wear the hat, guys. That and trying to keep my hair out of the food.
Yes, it is very difficult to do that. Holy cow. If I was in a professional setting right now, I'd definitely be wearing a hairnet because of my huge back hair.
You got all the locks on the back there, yeah.
And this is very, very thin right now, so we're probably at the limit for stretching. And as you can see, the dough is windowed.
Yep, I can see your fingers
And,
right through it. Why don't you show the crowd? Yeah.
And you can see my fingers through the dough. That's a sign that your gluten got a nice
I think you're a little too close to the
development on
camera.
it. So,
Okay.
but this dough is nice and ready.
Okay, so it's gonna sauce it up and cheese it up, and I'm still cutting veggies and then I got to saute, so it's gonna take a little bit. All right, so we will get with saucing and cheesing it and sauteing the veggies, which you've seen me saute veggies, and this is not rocket science, folks. Okay, you don't need to see me saute veggies. So we will then pile all the stuff on the pizza and set it in the oven for baking. And then we'll have some fun talking about collapse, okay? And guns, okay? Because everybody loves guns, right? And guns and pizza go together like, ice cream and chocolate sauce.
or pizza and beer.
Or pizza and beer, yes.
Yeah, pizza in Alaska. I don't
That's
know.
right. Okay. All right, back in a bit, folks.
Right.
Wow. That was a good segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
See how it came out later.